Hi guys, Jason here from Trojan Photography, and today we're going to be doing a review on the three-legged thing Brian tripod. So this thing costs, between $500 $600 depending on where you buy it. In Australia it cost me about $550. So I've had it for about a year now, a bit over a year now, and I've used it a bit, going travelling overseas. I've used it when I've gone out for hikes and bushwalks and stuff. I've also used it at events and stuff, so I've had a fair bit of use of it. I'd really like to give my opinion and give a review of it to you guys so you can make a decision if it's right for you or not. So when you get it, it comes in a nice canvas bag, nice strap that's fully adjustable, really good. It's got a handle on it, it's great. I've had it strapped to backpacks, I've had it just carrying, I've had it slung around me. It always works really good, it's really comfortable. It's just really well designed, it's really strong. I've had other things hanging off it and it still holds up pretty well, so that's good. Nice strong zipper on top, it comes out quite simply. So as you can see, it folds back on itself, so you can fold it out like so. And I'll just put it on the table here. And as you can see, I'm doing this. You can see how low this thing can really get. That's nice and low to the ground as it is. So also with the pack, you get a couple other stickers and stuff, but you also get 2 Allen keys and a carabiner. So this whole design has one size Allen key wrench, which is great. You can use it to tighten the legs up and stuff, the top plate, and also the fixing plate, which I'll show you very soon with it as well. So that is quite important. They'll give you 2 of them with the carabiner. Always want to keep it in your bag. Sometimes we have a problem because you chuck that in your camera bag or something, you're going to lose it. But within this pouch, within this carry case, it's got a little pouch there, nice Velcro lock. You can put it in there, you forget about it pretty much. It's great. When you need it, you pull it out. So it's always good, and it's always good for a manufacturer to give you those tools you need. So that's good. So here's the tripod itself. It can come in aluminium. This is the carbon fibre version, so it's a little bit lighter, which is what I want, but you also pay for that obviously, so there's a big trade-off there. So this is the Evolution 3 Brian, and on top of it is the Airhead 3 ballhead. So some of the specs: the tripod itself weighs about 1.5 kilos, the ballhead weighs about 300 grams, so altogether you're looking at just shy of sort of 2 kilos, which isn't too much, and this is designed as a travel tripod. As you can see, it packs down over itself, and it packs down quite small. It's a little bit over a foot, or 30 centimeters. You're at 40 centimeters there. So that's really good. It's really convenient. You slide in the back. I slide on the side of my hiking backpack and stuff if I go hiking with it and stuff. Or I just strap it to the back of my camera bag. So it all works well there. So it's got this locking design, so you can, from here you push these knobs down, you can lock it there, pull it out, you can lock it there, and to the next extent there, which is the lowest, which is what I was showing you. So as you can see, that's how low you can get it with the center column in. Now the center column does come out, which is a great design. You untie the bottom, little nut, you take off the top one, fully unscrew that, and then from there you can unscrew the top ball head. And from there it simply screws on like so. There we go, got it. So you can get it down to that height. So lock this around. You can get it down nice and low to the ground. The other thing you can do is obviously you flip the center column the other way down, you have the camera at the bottom of the legs while it's popped up. Like so, and you have the center column down, you can face the camera out so you can have the camera literally touching the ground. So let me just put this back together and then we'll get back into the review. Alright, so I've got it back together. It's very simple to pull apart, very simple to put back together, which is great. So as I said, it compacts down when it's fully folded away in its bag. It's down at 400mm, it's 40 centimeters. At full extension with the center column up, you're looking at around 1850mm, or just a tad over 6 foot. So that's really good. I'm 6'2". When you put the camera on top of it, I have the legs fully extended. I usually have the column down, which sort of still leaves that much of it up, but it's still stable. And I have no problem with that at 6'2". So anyone taller and stuff, you're not really going to have too much of an issue with the height, which is great for a travel tripod, because usually they only go up to sort of 1500 or something. You're usually squatting down to get to it. And as you could see before, you can get this thing nice low to the ground, which is great. So that also works with that feature of these pulling out, pushing back in, and you can lock them down different heights, which is also great if you're shooting on hills or slopey or uneven ground. It usually works out pretty well for you. So the tripod itself, as I said, it's carbon fibre. It's got metal bits on the joints, which is great. The leg style is a twist and lock system, so you just twist it and pull it out. And that's quite simple in itself. It's very easy to do usually. It's got 4 sections, and that's what gives it the height. And I've found even in decently windy conditions, it generally holds pretty still. It's got a little D-ring underneath, and that goes with the carabiner they give you. You can clip that on, you can clip a sandbag on, or a rock bag or whatever. I usually clip my backpack if it's a bit windy. That's going to give you that extra stability so it doesn't wobble, especially because these bottom legs, as you can see, are quite thin, but they are very sturdy because they are decent carbon fibre, which is great. The ball head itself is rated up to almost 40 kilos, which is great. It's got a little lock around the side here, which lets you pan as you wish, and you can loosen it up for less or more resistance and stuff, which is great. The big knob rotates the whole head, and then on the head itself you have the one that's going to lock down and clamp down. This takes an Arca-Swiss plate. It comes with a metal one, I'll show you that in a second, but it will work with all your Arca-Swiss plates, which is great if you're already into the system, or if you're not, it is a good system to get into because there are a lot of brands that use it. And then this red one you undo, and you can twist that individually. Lock that down. You can twist that whole plate individually, which is great, which gives you that stability. On the plate itself, it's got a bubble level, which is good because you can set up straight off that. But then on the tripod there, we have another bubble level, so we can set the tripod up, set it nice and level. From there, you can then set this up level. You can undo that and you can do a panorama or something, which is great, especially out in the field. It's not as good as having a panoramic head or plate, but it's the next best thing. And especially if you're going hiking around, travelling around, which is especially what this thing's designed for, you do not want to be carrying something like that. So this is great. It's got the levels you need, so you can set it up, and you can get nice, even and level horizon usually. Same when you're doing landscapes or anything else, you can generally set it up so it's not a nice level. You know it's level, you know that the tripod's generally not going to tip if it's level 2, which is great for it. So let's have a quick look at the plate. I've just got it on my Canon camera here. Nice gold looking plate. It has little tabs out the side, so you can put another sort of strapping mount on it, which I have a Peak Design strap that goes on with those. On this it's got a flat plus an Allen key wrench, so you can use a flathead screwdriver or a coin or something to tighten it up, or use the exact same size Allen key wrench that's used to tighten any of that you put in. You can tighten it up, and generally stays pretty tight. It's got a bit of rubber, a bit of plasticky grip stuff on the other side, so as you can see that is solid, and ever since I put it on, despite taking it off with that, when it's on, it doesn't loosen at all, which is great. So overall, a really great tripod, convenient, light, small, much smaller than my initial tripods and stuff I've had. So it is great for that. When I went overseas and stuff, it was great. I could just carry it onto a plane with me. I didn't have to check in, especially in carbon fibre. I didn't want something breaking, so I could carry it on. It was small enough to fit in my carry-on baggage, so I didn't get checked for it, and it was good for that. So it's really nice. So let's talk about some of the negative things. While it's great they give you an Allen key wrench, out of 3 tripods I've had, This is the only one where I've actually had to use tools to tighten, and I find it does get a bit loose, and I'm assuming it's more because of this action where you pop them out and you twist, so the legs get a bit more action. But as you can see, it stays there. If it gets loose, it'll start to fall, so you'll set the tripod up somewhere, you know, you take the shot, you're like, oh, I want that one, you pick it up, you learn to either pick it up from the center so you can keep the legs spread out, but see how it's nice and tight, and you can pick it up and we can move it, and the legs don't fold, so you've got to keep them nice and tight, which is great when it works like that. All the head and stuff I've found is great. I have found, while this thing's rated at 40 kilos, if I put my 7D Mark II with a battery grip and a 24-70, which is nowhere near 40 kilos on it, and I face it up, it'll start to move a bit, which it stops. And I don't know if it's something with all ball heads. I know there's ones out there that can cost, you know, $500 just for the ball head itself. So that's something I can't really afford to check, but if anyone wants to send me one, that'd be great. But as it is, you'll set it up, you'll frame, you'll tighten this down as tight as you can, and it does tighten quite well, and it'll still slip a little bit up or down depending on which way the camera's facing. So I've found it's not completely lock it off and it's staying there, so it does move a little bit. So that 40 kilo rating, while it will hold it eventually, it does usually have a little bit of slip, which I have found with most of the ball heads I've used. The locking system, as I said, it is a twist, undo and then lock system, which is nice. I find it's a little bit clumsy sometimes, and especially with this I find one or two of them get a little bit sticky and it gets a little bit hard. So as you can see there, it's really, that's as loose as it goes, and I really forced it. Now it probably needs to be clean, but considering I don't go in the beach with it, I don't go near sand or grit with it, I have travelled a bit with it, but it hasn't really been in any rough dirt and conditions. After a year, I don't think it should be like that. It should last a lot longer and a lot better than that, so that's one thing. The other point is something like the little ball legs on the bottom. I've had it for a year and it's already come off, so I've got to glue that on obviously, but you know, you shouldn't have to do that after owning $500-600 tripod for a year. So that's a bit annoying with that, and as I said, it hasn't been through that rough conditions hiking and stuff, but it doesn't get thrown around too much. Another positive thing I never mentioned, one of these legs comes off. It's the one with the orange around it. Quite easily screws off. You can extend that out, and that's a little tripod. You put the head onto it and you've got yourself a nice tripod there, which is a great little feature. You know, sometimes you're out there and sometimes it's not convenient to set up a tripod. Sometimes you just want to, you know, get the shot but be stable still. Monopod's always great, and anyone who's done sports photography would tell you the exact same thing, so that is great. So there's sort of the negatives I found in it, and you know, I probably get a bit picky with it, especially, you know, spending $600 and stuff on a tripod. I know it's a good investment, but you know, you want some of those things to work, and just the twisting system to unlock and lock, I just found it's a bit more cumbersome than the clips. I found the clips were a lot easier with one of my old tripods. You clip 1, 2, 3 or whatever, extend out, clip for clip, you're done. Whereas I've been out in the field, and when I went travelling and stuff with a friend, set up the tripod, set it up for self-portrait so we could get the background with us in there. Took the photo, and then the next second one of the legs starts collapsing because I thought I'd tightened it all the way up and I didn't. Or it just started to slide, so you don't have that, you know, look and go, yeah, that's locked off. And I guess that's just one of those things you got to get used to, but you know, it'd be great if there was a visual system where you could go, yeah, that's locked off, I know the tripod's not going to collapse, as opposed to, you know, it looks all the same. And that's the advantage of having the clips, I guess. So guys, I think it's a really nice tripod. For the money, is it worth it? You know, like there are a couple other brands out there, but it's light, it's very compact. You know, I've never had a problem, I've never hesitated to take it out, which is always a great thing, especially with a tripod, and you know, with your photography as a whole, you don't want it to be cumbersome to take out all the time. So, nice quality tripod. There's a couple of things there I'd love to see them fix up, you know, in the next generations, and they are a very evolving type company, so hopefully in the next generations of tripods you'll see some improvements and stuff on it. But so far I really like it, I enjoy it, I always take it out whenever I need it. There's never hesitation because of the size, because of the weight. You know, it just works so well with everything. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that review. If you've got any comments or questions about this tripod, please leave them in the comments. I answer all the comments and questions I get. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up. Thanks guys.